Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. I'm your host Tom Springer. If you haven't met me before, how you doing? I'm the great bearded one. 7 o'clock Mondays. This is normal, so welcome everybody. I do have on a special guest today. Her name is Charli McBride. I have recently met her, but I'm very intrigued by her. She has a lot of stuff that she does, and she's kind of keeping track of and all that wonderful stuff. And apparently there's a lot of stuff going on now, so we're keeping her very, very busy. But she was nice enough to take time out, come visit my show, and say hi to everybody and talk about herself because I really want her to, because I know she does a lot of really cool stuff. So without further ado, here comes Charli. Hi, Charli.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yep. And as I said, here we go. Hi, Taryn. Hi, beautiful. Taryn,
hi,
say
Taryn.
Hi. Bobby Thomas, brother. This is one of my guys from my Dimensional Encounter Paranormal team. So he's part of my investigation team as well. Thank you, Taryn. You know, I only keep it for you. It's that beautiful beard. So I always make sure I comb it out right before I come on show for you. Hi, Laura. Laura's one of our BB3s as well. How you doing? So I don't know. I told the story before, but I don't know how many people heard it. But Laura and I are connected from a past, like this time frame, past time frame. I apparently went to school with her sister in high school.
Oh, okay.
Out in California. And we had no clue until we talked about it maybe about a month, 2 months ago. So it was kind of interesting just to run into somebody that I knew right away. So
small world.
Yep. Hey, Farm, what's up, brother? How you doing? Laura's saying hi to you, Charli. Like I said,
hi.
This is gonna happen. So, Mr. William, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, Nighthawk, how are ya?
I think I'm one of the only people that still call him William, or that actually call him William. I don't know why. I mean, I know he's got the coolest last name in the world, but I just still call him William. Hi, Penny. Thanks for watching on the show. Anna Marie's here.
Hello, Anna.
And this is a secondary or tertiary mom. I don't know which one you want her to be, but she has way too many kids because we're all problem children. This is for people that don't know, this is Dom's mom. This is the owner of BB3, one of the owners of BB3. This is his mom. And she looks out for us very, very well. And she always comes in to make sure we're behaving. And it's really good she pops into my show because, you know, I don't behave very well. So, good thing. Stuart, how you doing, brother? Welcome back. Let's see. So, yep. So, Terrence calling you out here. I'm a walking sister, Charli. She helped me in an amazing way that I never experienced before. So, see, you haven't even said a word yet, really, and you're already getting praises. So, Bobby saying hi to other people in our crowd. That's my wife right there. She's saying hello.
Hello.
She's actually here, but she watches from the other room. Don't be surprised if you hear a delayed laugh. It's not a ghost or a spirit. About 3 to 4 seconds behind us, but she sits at the living room because she monitors me to make sure my internet's still working and everything else. But she's delayed by 3 or 4 seconds, so you'll hear her laugh in the background after we've already said something. Don't be surprised by that.
All right, good times.
Hi, Lori. How you doing? So, yep, like I said, we got pretty much everyone on here who's going to say hi. Yes, Jamie, you're right. Caught a live finally. How are you? Welcome. Jamie's actually scheduled to be on my show at a later date, too. So, oh, my goodness. I'm amazed. I got to say it. Kat is actually on time. So, Kat, we were just talking about you, as a matter of fact. I said,
yeah, we were.
I said, you were going to be on here, but you're probably going to be about a half an hour late to say hi. But this way we're going to say hi right on time. So that's amazing. So sorry I called you out, but you knew it was going to happen. So.
And she's the gal from Grand Rapids, right?
She's the one from Cedar Rapids.
Or Cedar Rapids,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, in Michigan? And like, no. I'm like, I've never heard of her. I know everybody in Michigan. Yeah.
Right. So Taryn's talking about how cute my wife is. She calls her wife. So on nights like this, I'm just a secondary husband. I mean, she has a wife, and then I'm just a secondary that fills in. So, yes. So my wife is calling it out. She won't be chatting much online. She's making Shambhala bracelets, but she'll be laughing in the background. You'll hear her. Like I said, this happens. In fact, she's laughing right now. You might be able to hear her a little bit right now. So that's just how it happens. Yes, it is very good to have backup. You'll hear her, like I said, throughout the show. Um,
I can hear her giggling.
she
It's
cooks
so
now,
great.
as a matter of fact.
It's so great.
So you'll hear that throughout the show because, like I said, she's just out in the living room. She's going to make me laugh the whole time. But anyways, welcome to the show, Charli.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you are here. So I have had the privilege of actually sitting down to talk to Charli once before. And I will tell you, it is very straightforward. There's no beating around the bush. There is no nothing. If she knows it, she'll tell you. If she doesn't, she'll tell you that too. And she won't sugarcoat it. If it's supposed to be said, it's going to be said. That's the way it works with her. That's what I've noticed, and that's just kind of how it goes. Before we move on and let you start really getting rambling, I do want people to know that they can reach you right away.
Oh.
Charli McBride, HTTPS theshamanicpaths.com. Now, if you go out to the site like I did, I don't just put this stuff up. I actually go out there and research it and everything else too. When you go out to the site, she actually has locations that talk about beginning learners and intermediate learners and advanced and other stuff that you want to be able to connect with to learn about abilities and what you may have or what may be upcoming in your life and you may want help with or anything else. You can reach out to Charli and she'll be able to help you with that. So this is going to pop up down here at the bottom as it's scrolling right there about 3 or 4 times during our show because I keep doing that. So I want people to go out and find you because you're an amazing person. So
Thank you.
Just be ready for that, and I will randomly shut up sometime. So Taryn, again, you helped her within maybe 10 minutes or shorter, and she's still amazed by it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. So, Stuart's saying, I know I'm old, but this is so much like TV of the 50s. Yeah, I know. So it's just the way it is. We got to say hi to everybody who comes on. We're all just one big happy family.
This is TV of the 50s. Yeah, that's good.
I swear that Charli will be able to talk. I will shut up. I just want to get all the good hellos in and everything else. Charli, the one thing I forgot to mention is we do not have a time limit. So
okay.
don't think we're restricted to. I'm supposed to be an hour show. I have never been just an hour. Just so you're aware of it. I don't care how long you go. I don't care whatever happens. We're just going to go.
Okay.
So, Kat does say that Charli did an impromptu read on me with April a while back. It was pretty spot on. So
that's awesome. I'm sorry. I don't remember, but that's great. I'm so sorry.
You only read like 9,000 people
awesome.
a day. So, hi, Kelly. How are you? Thanks for watching. I like the Orca pick, by the way. Oh yeah, and Laura is saying no time limit, no filter. That is correct. I have this wonderful.
Yeah, you got to put your parental advisory on
before this wonderful
talk.
button right there.
Yeah.
That will let people know it's up over in that corner up above her that says parental advisory. So I may just leave that for this show. What the heck, you all know my symbol. So we may just leave that up there because although Charli is a very wonderful woman, I don't think prim and proper are the 2 words that are going to fit in here. So. Okay, Charli, welcome to my show. We've said hi to a handful of people. They will keep popping in throughout the show, so I'll just keep throwing them up randomly, but I will not stop you from talking unless, like I said, it's a Zhang. Other than that, the floor is yours. Welcome, and let everyone know what you're about.
What am I about? I'm about 5'7". No, I'm just kidding. I'm a shaman. And first and foremost, and I'm a psychic medium, but all shamans are psychic mediums, but I like to add that on because a lot of people aren't aware of. I think that a lot of people kind of look at, or they believe that shamans are, an indigenous people who are tree huggers, granola eating folk. And I am here to testify that, absolutely not. They're mothers and brothers and sisters and modern day folk. And for God's sakes, I'm a redheaded white girl. So, definitely broke the mold on that. But I educate people on becoming aware of their abilities. I do not have a very popular opinion. It is my opinion, but I know there's a lot of platform mediums. We're normal-ish. There's a lot of platform mediums or spiritualists who will tout that, there's only 10 in the world that do this and you have to work. So, and it's like, no, that's not what I teach. In my experience, from my personal knowledge, is that we're all born with the ability. How much do you want to invest in it? What do you want to put into it to develop it, to recognize it, and to eradicate the dogma and, affix your new views that will align with you, to be open enough to hear, see, know when spirit is actually present. Hi, Dominic.
Yeah, it's funny too, because that's good that you said all that, because I will let you know that, as a lot of people on my show know, I came into this realm really late. I mean, only a year ago, a little over a year ago, did I even realize I had anything, or that I was capable of anything. And even before that, I will tell you, it was not until my late 20s, early 30s. I'm 50 now, so it'll tell you about half my life ago, but still, late 20s, early 30s, I did not realize that shamans could be female. Everything I've ever seen.
I love that. I love hearing that.
Yeah,
I love hearing that. That makes me want to sit up a little bit stronger. Like,
because the only thing they've ever shown on my style TV, which was the old westerns, the old Indian, it was, the shamans were always male. They were always men. Yep. So when I heard someone mention in my past, well, I'm a shaman, I went, well, how can you be a shaman? You're a female. And that's the same thing now as me saying, well, how can you be a priest? You're female. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, know what's funny is I was probably, without lying, maybe 6 or 8 years working with my mentor before I even knew that it was predominantly viewed as a male cultural that would be shaman. Every bit of 6 years, probably 8, but I'm kind of guesstimating. All the Karens now are freaking out. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even aware, because my mentor never mentioned it. He never talked about it. He never treated me differently, in any way, shape, or form. So, I felt very much on equal grounds with any other practitioner, regardless of gender.
That's fantastic. Yeah, like I said, for me, it was a totally different world. I was like, wait, So I'm like, you're making this up. Turns out I was wrong. So I'm gonna ask you the same question I always ask all of. Sorry, but it's funny because Taryn posted, all the Karens are now freaking out, and then Karen posts, not all of us.
I love it. That was good. That was good.
Good timing.
If I had a hat, I'd take it off for you.
Right.
That's a good
one. What's up, Dustin? How you doing? But the one thing I wanted to ask you though was, when did you start realizing that you had abilities, or just had the sense that something was different compared to like what the other kids were doing, or anything else? How did you learn or start to figure out that you were different, especially if this happened to you at a younger age?
Yeah, I was a teenager, and I was riding a four-wheeler with my then boyfriend, now husband, and we had an accident, and I hit a rock with a peak in it, and my head literally stuck in that peak.
Oh,
and I was clinically dead for over 6 minutes. It was like 6:36, I think it says, but it was over 6 minutes. And when I came to, I guess is the word that I'm going to use for that. I could see, hear spirit everywhere,
Right.
everywhere. People look, yeah, colors, everything. It was like the most confusing thing for me because I couldn't figure out why nobody else could see, hear, or know what I did,
Right.
which really started my pursuit. And, we come from my family, it comes from a long line of hardcore hardcore Pentecostal ministers.
That was me, Pentecostal.
Yeah.
My grandfather, Pentecostal pastor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, look, Dad, look what you got, surprise. Here to push the dogma away, So, but yeah, I was blessed. My dad actually was really, I'm blessed. I've heard a lot of horror stories from students and clients in general. And I'm blessed because I was not made to feel like I was weird. I was just consistently cautioned. Don't tell anyone that you know those things. Just don't say it.
Right.
That was really it.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that's so cool. Thank you, Taryn. But to be honest with you, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I had nothing. I mean, back then, are you kidding me?
Right.
I didn't have a clue of what I was doing. And I didn't even know where to begin. I was driving down the street one day. I'm just going to tell you how I met my mentor, because that's when really stuff started happening. I was driving down the street one day.
This is your show. I'm just back here clicking on buttons, making sure people you see the comments. So
I pulled into this little, rinky-dink shop that was a metaphysical shop. It was really a small place, though. And I still don't even know how I had never seen it, and not stopped prior or anything like that.
Right.
And it just never, I don't know, it was almost like a magnetism. I know that sounds so cliche, but it was just like, and I was not really feeling super secure walking in because I didn't know what was going to be beyond those doors. And that's where I had first seen my mentor, and he had colors unlike anyone else that I had ever seen.
Yeah.
His aura was completely different. He sparkled, he shined,
Yeah.
And he had asked me very, very weirdly, he'd asked me, do you know what you are? And I'm like, do I know what I am? And he's like, oh, you're not ready yet. He's like, you're not ready yet. That's what he told me. He's like, you're not ready yet. And I'm like, that's literally like throwing a bone out to me. No, I'm ready. What? Right. Tell me,
Yeah, exactly.
And he was adamant, no, you're not ready. You're not ready. And I swear to God, I stalked that man. I went to that store. I bought so much crap. I didn't even know what it was. I was like buying stuff just so they wouldn't throw me out. And I don't even know how long. It's been so long, but day after day after day. And finally he took me. I kept telling him, I want you to teach me. I want you to show me. I want you to show me. I want you to teach me. And he did, but I'm persistent. That's probably how I got married too. Just freaking drive them crazy until they have no choice but to take you, So, but yeah. So
I didn't know how that works. I've never seen in the other room.
Yeah, I was blessed. I know unequivocally that God put him in my path because I would not be where I'm at. No way, shape, or form.
Right.
No way, shape, or form.
Right.
And he normalized so many things, and he helped me to realize essentially who I am, and to control, which was a big part of it. It wasn't that I needed to learn how to do to connect. No, it was like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, stop. You know what I mean? Can I pump my freaking gas, without having spirit right here,
Right.
Or like, hey, can you do me a favor? It was always, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you tell? It's like, no, I can't, like, I have no idea who that is. Where am I going to find them? It was just super confusing and hard and crazy and scary. If I'm being honest, really scary.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Really scary because I didn't know why this was happening. And I literally thought, okay, I am like schizophrenic or something. I'm crazy. It's like undetected until now or something, Yeah,
it's funny because I'm a nerd by heart. Just take it for what it is. And the way you're describing it, and anyone who knows anything, obviously I'm wearing the Superman shirt, the Superman behind me all over the place. To me, it reminds me of the scene of Man of Steel when he's a young kid, and all of a sudden he's able to start seeing through bodies, and he's able to start hearing everyone's voices, and he's able to start picking up on all the stuff that no one else can see or hear because his powers are coming into development. And that's funny when you start talking about it, that's instantly what I pictured as in my mind, just having to go through something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I didn't want to tell my friends. I literally didn't want to because I was so afraid of judgment. I'm so afraid of judgment. I mean, in that time, it was so, I just hadn't really found my voice, my true self.
Right.
That comes with time and age and experience and life, But it was challenging before.
Well, it's funny how you had to deal with that at such a young age, because I'll let you know that I know that I know myself, I know of another one as well that, like I said, I only learned about this as I'm older, and I still didn't want to share it with people because I didn't know how they were going to react to all of a sudden. They've known me for all these years, and all of a sudden there's this shift, there's this adjustment that they've never seen before, and they're like, "Whoa, what are you on? What are you doing here?" Type of thing. So I can't imagine as when you're younger trying to deal with that. I mean, like I said, I'm a grown ass man, and I'm trying to figure out how to work with it. So
I told everybody every single thing that happened when I was clinically dead. I told them I saw the lady on the mountain. I saw them trying to do CPR. I saw them go to the creek and put the t-shirt in there trying to rub the blood away. And they were all like, totally, what the heck?
Right.
I told them the conversation, things that, my then boyfriend, now husband, was saying word for word.
Right.
And they were like, oh, that's weird. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You do that.
Yeah. But on a completely weird, it was almost like I normalized it.
Yeah.
I normalized the intuitive or psychic behavior. It's like, oh, your dad's going to come over today. Don't go out. Your dad's coming over.
Right.
Or we're going to have company, or, oh, that's, so-and-so that's calling on the phone before it rung. And I had done that so long. And you got to think, we were young, teenagers up until adulthood. Right. By the time I literally remember talking to my husband. He was out in the garage, and I had told him, I said, I'm psychic. And that was a big deal for me to say those words.
Out loud, yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge thing. It's so much easier to say, oh, I just get information, but for me to claim the title of, I'm psychic. I'll never forget this. He did not make eye contact with me. He's just continuing to do what he does, whatever he was doing in there. And I said, and I'm pretty sure what I do is called a medium. And he's like, and what makes you think that? And I said, well, because it's really not normal, the things that I do, honey. And he looks up at me and he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, when people are coming over and I know, or somebody calls and I know, or when I tell you to stop the car because something's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. I was giving him instances.
Right.
And he's like, everybody does that. And I'm like, no, babe, just your wife. Nobody else does that. That's not like normal behavior. It was so funny because he's just like, no, that's just normal. All women do that. Nope, just yours, So, yeah.
So Taryn's got a question for you. She said, do you contribute your abilities to the accident, or were you born with it? Or
I don't remember anything.
Or were you born with it and the accident just brought it out of the light?
Actually, I have a book that's coming out that's gonna go into greater detail. I'll give you like the highlights. But I really know very little prior to my accident.
Oh, okay.
Very little. Do I contribute it to my accident? I don't know. Something got bumped pretty good.
Yeah.
Something bumped around there pretty good. But I know some fantastic, just really phenomenal metaphysical practitioners that never had anything happen to them.
Right.
And, so I'm not sure what I could attribute it to, but I'm blessed for the path that I have walked.
Yeah.
Because it led me to where I'm at now. And maybe I needed that for this particular role.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I don't know, would you call it fate, destiny?
Yeah.
Predestined to be where you're at right now, and for things to come, or?
Yeah. Well, in my belief, I believe that we already plan everything before we even come. And obviously there's free will, but there's these predestined events that, we're going to do these things during this lifespan. Right. Now we can, fuck around and take 40 years to get it done, but we will get it done during that lifespan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely understand. And Stuart's saying he has the opposite problem. He says everyone believes him when they tell him he's psychotic.
That's good. Good times. Good times.
Yeah. So, it's funny because I've actually had this conversation with my wife, and you may be able to get some clarity to it if you're wanting to do some work tonight. So I talk about my past when I was in the military, and I was basically a squad lead of, we were known as the Ugly 13 or the Gargoyle Squad. And you can see why. But I always was the one who had that I call it a sixth sense, where I would just stop us. And I'm like, all right, everyone, just go hide, go cover is what we'd say. Go cover. And everyone go cover. And they're like, what are we covering for? I go, I don't know why. I just got a gut feeling. Go cover. And we're on foot. There's 13 of us. And all of a sudden, like a platoon from whoever we're going to get would just go right by us. Like 40, 50 people would go by us. They're like, how'd you know? I'm like, I don't know. Gut feeling. And I realized that I do it more and more. I even do it now. I'll say stuff, and then 2 seconds later, 3 seconds later, someone will say the exact same words. Word for word, and it's not a place where you'd expect that sentence to happen. It seems like it's very out of character for that to happen at that point. Or I can tell you what's about to happen, and then 5 seconds later it happens. And my wife is like, "How? What?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't understand why it happens or how it happens, but it happens, and it happens a lot, and it's really weird."
So one of the things that I actually like, in my beginners class, that's one of the things that I utilize or talk about is, look at our firefighters, look at our policemen, look at our private investigators.
Yeah.
They all have a very fine-tuned intuitiveness. They are listening to those gut instincts
Right.
that are driving them, that are saying, oh, I should stand here, as I'm being a PI, because I
Right.
know that they're going to come out, or I have a feeling, that I should stake out this place because something's going to happen. Or, I have a gut feeling that I need to continue to question this suspect because I think they did it. They know, or they know more.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
That's the intuitiveness.
Yeah.
Which is some people's are more fine-tuned than others. And when you're in that line of work, you're using it very consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it even works for small. I've really started listening to the little voices in my head, and it sounds ridiculous, but I'm starting to tell the people I work with that, like, if maybe I'm getting ready to go to sleep, but something in my mind says, oh, you have papers in the other room that you have to remember to grab in the morning. And my first instinct is, I'll just grab them in the morning. I'll remember them. I'm halfway to work and I go, damn it, I forgot those papers. So when I hear that voice now, I get up and I go do it. I have stopped second guessing it.
Yeah.
If it's telling me for a reason, I better go do it at that time. Because
absolutely.
so many people that I tell that. And I still work on an Air Force base. So work on a military installation, Air Force, Marines, Navy, the whole works. And I'm telling the younger kids now, hey, that voice in your head? Because I always hear, oh, I forgot my phone, or oh, I forgot my hat. I'm like, did you think about it last night? Yeah, and I totally forgot it. I go, listen to that voice when it tells you.
Yeah.
Don't go, oh, I can do that later. Start doing it at that part. As soon as you hear it, go do it. There's a reason that something is telling you. I go, I don't know if it's your intuition. I don't know if it's a spirit guide. I don't know what it is, but someone's telling you got to do even the smallest of basic things.
Yeah.
Or you're going to forget it.
And I think, that's what's challenging for people who are heavily claircognizant, which is what you are. You're very claircognizant. You have a knowingness. I think you're sentient too, where you feel. But I think you're heavily claircognizant, where you just know. Yeah. I think that's like your strongest crutch, if you will, with your intuitiveness. So for me, when I go to talk to my students in regards to that, because it's the question, oh, am I making this up? Is it just me? Oh, I can't trust that because, it's just me talking to me. Do you argue with yourself?
Right.
So if you don't agree with what's being said, then it's not you, friend.
Right.
Right. If you hear that and you're like, oh, what a brilliant idea. That's not you, friend.
Right.
There's your sign. That's not you. Yeah.
So it's funny, yeah. I don't mean to interrupt, but yeah. So I don't know why that one popped up, but yes. So you're talking about your classes. Guess what, people? She does those. See that site down there? See that site right there? She teaches that stuff for those classes she has online. So you can go to that site right there and go take a look at what she teaches and the stuff she's talking about right now, as far as like teaching this stuff to her students. That's what you can go to figure that stuff out. So,
yeah. I think that especially, with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
There were so many people that were in forced isolation, that there really was the opportunity to know thyself, and to really decide what people want to do, and if it is something, and I think it woke a lot of people up to the fact of, do I want to spend my whole life working 60 hours a week?
Right.
And at something that's unfulfilling. And, oh my God, this is how my children behave. Really?
Right.
Where have I been? Uh,
Big
and
eye,
I think it
big eye
gave
opener
people,
when the teachers would send notes home for their kids and like my kids don't do that.
yeah, yeah. So all my kids are adults now. I have 5, and trust me, all of them did it. All of them did. They could probably put people into training. They did it all. So they did it all.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it really did awaken, lack of a better term. And I really, that term is kind of hokey anyways, but it did make them know thyself enough to say, there's something to this. There's got to be more than this.
and I was going
You
to ask
know?
you that. Was there more? Was there a bigger attendance in classes during the pandemic because
Oh,
people kind of are to themselves and they're looking for things to do and they're finding out these questions or they have
yeah,
these questions and they want answers, so they're starting to ask. So
for
was
sure.
there an uptick
For sure.
during
For sure.
isolation that
Well,
ramped you up?
I mean, like I do phone readings. I think I told you that. I do phone readings until 10 a.m.
Right,
And then from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., I do online readings
right.
or caseloads when it comes to, we're going to call it woo woo work. Okay. So the heavy energy stuff. And then all of my classes are from 6 o'clock on.
Okay.
And some of my classes, I'm running till 11 at night.
Ooh,
So sometimes I don't sign off until 1:30 in the morning. It just depends.
neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Jamie right there. Definitely gave us the opportunity to do shadow work and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing. I felt that shadow work was so needed during that time that I did a shadow work course that you could do it on your own in your own time, and then schedule a free appointment with me afterwards if you had questions or follow up, or if I could kind of help lead you into a direction that maybe you needed to work in an area a little bit more. That's how much I believed that people needed to do that, and
Right.
not the surface crap,
Right.
but like really looking at how trauma from 20, 30 years ago, how it affects our decisions that we're making today, not reliving the trauma,
Right.
not going, woe is me, or, oh, I'm, a
Yep.
victim, not that, but like, how did that change who I am? And what tools do I need to get me beyond that mentality?
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, it's even in the physical side,
Oh,
because
for sure.
because mine's adjusted. My past has adjusted how I sit in a restaurant, what I
Yeah.
look at. And my wife makes fun of me because we'll go out to nature areas,
Mhm.
and she's like, "Oh, this is beautiful." And my first thought process is, where would I be if I were a sniper? Where would I be sitting at? So I'm looking for the
Yeah.
dangers, for the hazards.
Yeah.
So it taught me a little different thought process too. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's your past definitely helps develop what you're
Absolutely.
doing now. And I wanted
Absolutely.
to put this up. Stuart actually posted this a while ago. Sorry, Stuart, for taking so long. But when we were talking about is life predestined? Is it fate, or is it predetermined, or anything else? And he actually posted, life is akin to setting your schedule in college. You pick your courses of what you want to learn, but you're responsible to come and learn it or blow off the class.
Yeah, free will. That's exactly it. Like I said, these predetermined things that you're like, okay, I'm going to learn this. I'm going to work on this. I have this. I have this. But,
Yep.
Free will is a bitch sometimes.
Right?
Wouldn't it be nice? It'd be really nice if we had a schedule. What is that?
Yeah.
We really did
This
need
is
it.
Jamie,
A
yeah.
lot of us would not have taken the time if we were forced.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's, it's I don't want to say this. I know some people are going to look at me and go, dude, you're nuts. But I am, but not for this reason. There has actually been some good that has come out of the pandemic.
Oh, I believe so. Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, dude, no. But yes, really, there is, and a lot of people are realizing that they may not think it's a blessing to them now, but if they looked at it, it helped them reset. It helped them, or even start, not even just a reset, but help them start on
So
them.
I can't speak for, every place. I can only speak for I'm in Michigan, and I
Right.
know in Michigan, a friend of mine is an attorney and had said that, that it was the highest divorce rate
Mm.
since he's been practicing, and I'm like, yeah, because when you're in isolation with somebody in a
Right.
pandemic and you're looking, you're like, you know what? You're kind of an asshole. I don't want to be with you. Yeah. Once you find that out,
Yeah.
it is definitely jarring, but I think it was much needed
Yeah.
because you've been so busy. You haven't been really present in your life. You didn't even realize your spouse was an asshole. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I do. I think it's been a huge blessing for many people, many people.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jamie, again, almost out of guilt, we just wouldn't have done it. Attitude of gratitude is a powerful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yep.
definitely.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. So
I do want to. So we have talked about your webpage a couple of times, and I have brought up the fact that you talk beginner and you talk intermediate and you talk some other stuff. Can you kind of give an idea when I say beginner, what your beginner course is kind of like?
yeah. So my beginner course is first identifying what clair abilities that you have, what are present, and how you utilize them. The second thing that we would work on is understanding the difference between gifts and skills. The third thing is how to understand energy and when you're present with it,
Mm-hmm.
and boundaries. That's your team. We talk about your team, communication efforts, and what that looks like. And there is no one size that fits all.
Right.
That's why my classes are rather small. I like to keep them, about 10 people. They are rather small.
Right.
And when I get into my shaman classes, I like to keep those very small. I like to keep those about 3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't, yeah, because it's too personal and you need that one-on-one. You need to really assist that person as they're going through that path. I don't want anybody getting lost in the mix,
Right.
And the intermediate course, then we're really building on that foundation of information. And it's really doing a lot of exercises and developing all the clairs, because I do not believe in just using one. Why use one when you can use them all?
But you have 5 senses, so
Yeah. So why not? Why not?
Why not?
And when we go into what technically would be called advanced work, then that's a huge undertaking. I do a private mentorship, but I also do a 26-week program.
Holy cow.
Yeah, because you need that. Anybody who tells you like you're going to be a professional in 12 weeks, they're wrong.
Carry around Peter, your money back.
That's a pipe dream. You can be a professional when you can actually adapt to all the information.
Okay.
When you can master that information. My students are only as good as I am of an instructor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make sure when they go out that there is no question of what do I do when this happens, or is this right, or they have all the information.
Are all of your classes live, or are some of them like pre-recorded, work on your own pace?
Oh no. It's in person, all of my
Okay.
classes, but in addition to all meeting with me, so there's 83 recordings of additional information because obviously you can't fit that in all at one time.
Right.
Homework, homework, homework. I am
Oh, it's all
hardcore.
over again, man.
You know what I tell everybody? I'm kind of like medicine, not good for the palate, right? Hardcore,
Right.
but I'm effective. I will push you when you don't feel like you want to be pushed, but I'll do it because I know what you can do.
Right. So Kelly is asking, how long does it take to get fairly good?
So if you're doing just psychic work, 12 weeks, you can be excellent. If you're doing mediumship, you're looking about 16 to 18 weeks. And I also have everybody do shadow work. Every single student does shadow work. Yeah.
That's where I think that's where I need to get some work done. That's gonna
Yeah.
hurt me. That was gonna
Yeah.
hurt me a little bit. So you did bring up and yep. And anyone has the ability?
Anyone. If you have a pulse, congratulations.
I'm good.
You have the
Golden.
ability. You do. I believe that wholeheartedly.
I do too. I believe it's just something that you have to
Yep.
be willing to accept.
Yep.
And take on. Yep.
I know. There's nothing super special about me or anybody else who is in this field. We all have the capacity. It's just developing it. Is it rewarding?
There you go. Is it rewarding when you help someone?
Yes.
Yes.
It is. So I actually was going to school because I wanted to be an English professor at one point. And this, you could never have told me back then, like, hey, you're going to drop major cash to go to school and you're going to change your mind and you're going to teach woo-woo for a living. No, you could have never have told me that. And I would have believed it ever in a million years.
So she's also saying that you hear it can take a toll on your body.
Absolutely, it can. If you are not aware of the energy impacts, absolutely it can. But that's why right off the bat, you're learning boundaries.
Right.
You're learning boundaries. And as you progress, you have to, I don't care what anybody says, you have to understand how to manipulate energy. Yeah. How do you interact with it? How can you prevent it?
Well,
some people are absorbers of energy and some people repel it.
She's surprised she hasn't taken a toll on your body yet. She hides it well, Karen. She hides it well.
I think that regardless of what kind of practitioner you are, every single person goes through a phase where they're like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm not going to sit up here and blow smoke up anybody's butt. Right. Have I had instances where it has taken a toll on me? Absolutely, it has. Right. Yep. And then guess what? You learn. And you're like, I don't like that. So that'll never happen again. I will never put myself in that position again. And it didn't matter how many times my mentor told me or prepared me, because I like to learn the hard way. So but yeah, absolutely.
So Kelly, the banner I was just scanning on the bottom, and I'll throw it up there again. That is actually where you can go to look at these classes. So this is the link that I'm going to put up there. You can actually go to look at all these classes that we're talking about with Charli right now. So let me throw it back up there again, right there on the bottom, theshamanicpath.com. You can go out there and check out all those classes. She has they show up as boxes, and they actually give like a very simple title of like the beginner's course, advanced, all those different ones, and you can just click on them. It'll open up and give you all the information inside of that. So see, I did homework. Like, I'm good at this.
You are good at it. I should probably say, I'm looking at my calendar over here, and I should probably say in 2 weeks is when new classes will be updated on there, because I cycle my classes So it's like, these particular classes will be going at this time, and then there'll be a 3-month rest while I do the other classes. So some are divination, astral, kundalini, I just kind of go through them.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's going to be, I get the feeling that that people are going to go out there and take a look at that. I'm actually thinking I'm going to have to go out there and take a look at it. But yes, I mean, and for me, honestly, for me, it's something that I probably need to look more into. Like I said, I've known about my stuff now for just a little over a year.
Yeah.
Some people have done their best to try to guide me, but I haven't looked into classes like this. So a lot of the stuff I've been to has been read this book, do this meditation type of stuff. It's never been an actual focus of stuff that I need to really pay attention to. And my problem is that I will, God, I hate having to admit this, but I hate homework.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and I will explain why to the audience, and I'll explain it to you. Whenever I read something, I remember it. I have an eidetic memory. Yeah. So in 10 years, we can talk about this conversation. I'll know what this conversation was. And that's why I hate doing homework, because I never had to. I always read it and just remembered it and studied
the homework that I give, well, first off, this is what I actually tell every single student is, if you are not finding joy, if you are not finding peace, if this doesn't bring you pleasure, stop.
Stop doing it. Yeah.
Stop. And that's what I have students to this day, literally today, who contacted me and was like, hey, can you give me more homework? I mean, that's how my students are, because they are so excited when they're picking up information. They're like, oh my God, this is great. Right. I want more. So it is very much real world examples. It's not, the frou-frou-y, read this text, do this, no, it's how you implement it in your everyday life that's important.
So that's that's a great segue into this. How much time do you devote daily to get taught?
For me, or how much?
I think for the student. I think for the student.
Okay. So I meet my students once a week. We are together for 60 to 90 minutes during that week.
Okay.
Now, every week you will get homework, and that homework will be videos that are recorded that will elaborate on the lecture that I had given. So it depends on what course, but for a period of time, it is giving you the information. You're going to practice doing the information and practice. And then as we move along, then I think it's 700. I hope I'm not lying. A little over 700 volunteers on a list that you choose from, not me.
Right.
You go through that list of people. You pick what person that you would like to practice with. We bring them on, and you do a reading, or depending on what class, if it's psychic or mediumship or healings.
Right.
And it's a practicum, like if you were in college. Right. So you're actually getting the work right there, and you build that up over time. And I critique it. And it's like, you got to work on that. And that's really what gives the students I think the confidence, because we go through so many. You have so many under your belt. Right. By the time that you're done, that you're like, this is old hat. I got this. Yeah.
So I don't want to make this sound like it's dumbed down, but there are some people who had not gone to college, and for me, the best way to describe this is OJT. This is your on-the-job training. Yeah. As you're learning your skill, you got to do your on-the-job training. We do have a couple more some comments. So I'm gonna kind of jump around some of these. Kelly does say that I think she has something except throw up and bam, something bad happens, usually a death. So probably some kind of ability, but just not.
Except I throw up and bam, something bad happens, usually a death. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I used to get world events all the time. And those world events were always something bad. It was like hurricane, blizzard, volcano eruptions. It was always something bad.
Right.
I mean, never failed. And it's like, I remember sitting there and going, why am I giving this information? I cannot control the universe.
Right.
And honey, you're not given that information because you're expected to do anything with it. You're given that information because you're open to receive it. Period.
There you go.
And death is a part of, just life. When we were born, we have an expiration date. I know that sucks and nobody wants to talk about it, but that's the reality of it.
Yep.
And sometimes it is that heads up that prepares you for that. There's so many people in my life that has happened with. And all that does is better prepare me for the inevitable. I hope that helped.
I think it does. Going back to the energy, Jamie said, I thought it was just the price of the work back in the day. I'd absorb the heal. So much better not having to do that. So yes.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a big difference between using your personal energy to heal and using source energy to heal. Two totally different things.
Right.
If you want to cut down your lifespan, heal with your own energy. Your energy is your chi, that is your life force. So, yeah.
So let me ask you a question about that for personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Jamie, you're listening to, I've also talked with you, but this is a question that I was wondering. So I'm kind of like an Energizer bunny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run out of energy, and I am very good about pushing energy to others, but I never tire. Is that because I'm pulling energy from other sources around me?
Yeah, you're what I call an energy eater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I call it. You're an energy eater.
I was wondering because I don't know if I just pull it from the environment, from the atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, but
everybody, everything around you.
I can hand it off to anybody, and they're just like, "Oh my goodness, that's a huge burst of energy," and I'm like, "Yep, let's keep going." And they're like, "Holy crap, why don't you tire?" And I go, "I don't know."
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that are. And those are the people that typically get overwhelmed too when they're in spaces where there is negative energy because they're absorbing it. So it's like, congratulations, you just bought yourself a brand new crappy energy,
Right. But so I don't know if I have that disconnect there then, because like when we go to investigations, we go to different locations and there's just a negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't seem to absorb that. I'm always in the.
So what I call it is the spiritual flu.
Okay.
People who are energy eaters, they'll notice your appetite will change, your sleep pattern may change. You may just feel a little not quite yourself, not as talkative, but it is what I refer to as like the spiritual flu. Your body's trying to filter out what you had taken in, and that takes time. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And yes, Taryn does say that thirst for knowledge keeps us going.
Yeah.
Jamie's confirming that woo-woo homework is so much fun, and she too hates homework. So thank you for that. I'll keep that in mind. And then the fact that you're talking about some people that have the ability to know what's going on, like you said, earthly events and everything else. Taryn stated, good, before her trip to Ponte, she's going to make sure Mount Vesuvius isn't going to erupt while we're there. And then my wife responded with, when we were there, I think it's happening sometime in 2100. So I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, Nikki and I were there a couple years ago, and that's kind of what they were talking about. And then, of course, Taryn's got to be a smart ass. Talking about not running out of energy. She's like, good for you, Nicole Springer. He doesn't run out of energy. Stuart is saying that the energy should flow through us instead of from us. And that's correct. That's really how
that's one of the things when I'm teaching my shaman course is, there's so many people who are afraid,
right.
Like we have that imposter syndrome. And I went through the same thing. Like, who do I think I am that I can do this work?
Right.
Well, they're obviously going through the same thought process. And it's like, listen, you have to think of yourself as a shoe. You could be a shoe, and if God chose that shoe to work through to,
Right.
heal and help and bless another person, that's all you got to do. You just got to show up and be that vessel. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Be the shoe.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've recognized is that I don't feel the energy is coming from me. I don't feel like I'm using my energy to heal others or to help others. I really don't. I just don't. Stuart also says that thunder, lightning, and thunderstorm gives him energy, so he really loves them.
Yeah.
So and then Kelly does bring back up when we were talking before about how she got sick and then normally death happens. She did bring out. Oops, hold on. Where was it, Kelly? I know I had it on here somewhere. Sorry. Where was it at? Oh yeah, it was this one right here. Usually it lasts a day or two. Last September 25th, her nephew passed, been thrown up since. Doctors have found nothing. So yeah, it's interesting how it interacts and takes over, or not really takes over, but just affects some people's bodies having to deal with some of the energies and stuff like that. So
yeah, it depends. So for you, it's a lot different than it is for her. So the best way I can explain it, and I use this analogy all the time, so pardon me if you've heard it before, but it's kind of like a TV antenna, Sometimes your antenna is up and you're receiving all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And, if you have a crappy day, you got to put gas in your car, you're late for work, you forgot your lunch, your antenna is going to be down.
Right.
So, and then you may eat, get a little burst of energy, feel a little bit better, and it may be halfway up and you're going to get spastic information, So for her in particular, I think that the sickness that she is feeling isn't the information is making her that way. It's her rejecting the information. Her soul is ready to receive, but her left brain is in the way going, I don't want this. Yeah. This doesn't feel good. you know?
She says she wondered if it was energy. And then Jamie follows it up saying, I have a friend that does that. She blocks it, but I'm not sure how. It's like recognizing and then saying, no, thank you. So it's
yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was saying. Like her soul is ready, but she's rejecting it.
Yeah,
what you're referring to as blocking it. So, same thing. Yeah.
So that's what she's saying. I have to learn to receive. So
yeah, absolutely. Not really. You know what? There's a difference between receiving. Anybody can receive. You have to embrace the fact that this is happening.
Right.
Okay, I received this information. No, it doesn't feel good or look good. And not necessarily it's giving you the warm fuzzies, but train yourself to go, thank you for that information. Thank you for that information.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you have to do anything with it, but I kind of think of what I refer to as spirit, great spirit, that, it's like a parent. If God gave you this gift and you're not doing anything with it, it's like a Lego on the floor that you're just tossing aside. He's not going to give you anything else.
Right.
You got to take care of what you have first.
Right.
Build upon that. And when you're taking care of that, well, then God will go, yeah, I think she's ready for more.
Yeah.
And that's really how it is.
Yeah. And Jamie's like, or, she doesn't receive when she's ready to go to sleep. Yes.
And that's boundaries.
Yeah. And that's what I actually shut myself down right before I go to bed too. It's weird because I don't leave myself open all day, but I know kind of when I'm open and when I'm not. But at night, I completely shut myself off. I don't care.
No, as a shaman, I was trained to always be open. That is my role. That is my job on this planet, is to always remain open and accessible at all times.
That was something I was going to ask you when you were talking about your classes. This very much interests me. So you talked about beginner, intermediate, advanced. Advanced is 26 weeks. It's in depth. It's a long.
Well,
then
minimum of 26, depending on how much work. I don't charge more if we go 38 weeks, but a minimum of 26 is what I tell my students.
But you also mentioned and then you teach a shamanic class.
Mhm.
Can anybody take the shamanic class, or do they have to go through a
Oh, yeah.
certain level of does it?
No,
So
anybody can take it, but here's the thing. If we're sitting here and we're having, because every single student I meet with prior to them starting class, and I'm talking to you, and which had happened with more than one student multiple times, is like, yeah, I want to take that shaman class. That sounds really good. And it's like, do you feel called to be a healer? No, but I love the whole mediumship aspect. And it's like, honey, you don't want to be a shaman, you want to be a medium. There's a difference.
yeah.
So, and a shaman isn't to heal thyself, it's to heal thyself, others, and the planet.
Right.
That's a big responsibility. You have to cover all those factors. Are you willing to take on that role? Because I teach the traditional 9 rites of passage. So in order, with each one of those rites are responsibilities and duties.
Right.
You can't bypass that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That may be why I'm so drawn to this, because it doesn't matter whether it's been one of my team doing a tarot reading, or my Reiki that I go to, or people are talking to me, they're like, you are supposed to do healing work. You are a healer, hands down. And I'm like, okay. But I don't know what that means. I don't know what that entails. I don't know. So, and Nighthawk has brought it up before too. And he's like, man, he goes, you're a healer. Just so you know this, you're a healer. And I've always known myself as a protector, especially because of my background and everything else. I've always known myself as a protector, but the healer part is something that I'm very intrigued with. So it's interesting. So we can talk about that afterwards. But yes, just know that you may be having a new student. I'm just saying. And even Stuart, I would like to take your shaman class. I've been a healer most of my adult life. So there you go.
Awesome.
Look at that.
Awesome. So what I recommend to anybody who's interested, before you click on a link that says pay here, schedule a free consultation with me. You know, you have nothing to lose, just time. Schedule a free consultation, and that way we can really get to know one another and discuss what path would fit you the best, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yes, Stuart, go out there and do that. I'm not calling myself out. I'm calling Stuart. So outside of the teaching, have you done other paranormal stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Have you done the investigations?
Well, I think that's what happened is I started off with my mentor, and he's teaching me. I love him. He's so funny. Be there tomorrow. So as my mentor was teaching me, and, you know, I'm on this very linear path, I was blessed again because he was always encouraging me to go out, seek, you know. So I took just a multitude of different classes, and I meandered. Even in college, I was like, the religious philosophy is what did it for me. I was taking a junk class. I was just trying to take a filler class. It's the truth. It was like, okay, this is going to be garbage. Super easy. I can do this with my eyes closed, you know, no big deal. I can grab those 4 credits and just move on with my life, you know, just keep going. And when I took that, I was like, I did like a whole Mario Kart left, you know, with my entire education. I was like, you know, I went into psychology, the state of the human mind. And I mean, I just definitely meandered all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, lots of certifications, lots and lots of classes. Most, if I'm honest, taught me how to not teach, because they were like, I'm not kidding you. You can pay like $300 to take a class, and they'll go, here's your certification. And you're like, what do I do?
Right.
I don't understand. Yeah,
Right.
they don't care. And yeah, a lot of them were garbage. Lots were. But yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, like I
Lots
said,
of investigations and stuff that came much later. I was way too, not this girl. I was
yeah.
scared.
And that's what I was gonna ask. Did you stop because you just didn't like it, or did you just decide this wasn't best for you and you wanted to stay focused on the path you were going as far as the teaching and everything else? Or
Did I? No, I'm not stopped. No, I do caseloads every week. I have caseloads every week.
okay,
Yeah. So what
so
I
I
do
was
is
gonna have you explain
I
to the
only
path.
work with. I am an occult specialist. That's all I work with. Anything that has to deal with occult work. So where I'm at, Michigan, part of Ohio, if they get a case that looks or feels like it would fit that niche, they would contact me and they'd say, "Hey," and I would confer on that with them,
Mhm.
and give them, my opinion on if it is or if it isn't, if it fits that criteria, and if it is, then it becomes my case.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
but the haunted, like what you guys call like haunted investigate, I
right.
would not be good with that because my job is to clear that space. You know,
Right.
I I believe that all souls have value and they all deserve to cross over.
Right.
So I make that my goal is to work with them to cross over.
Do you come across some that just don't want to? They're just happy where they're at?
I have not had a soul yet that has um, been unable for me to move.
Okay. And the only reason I asked that is because I actually had a younger gentleman come to me who had passed, and he had already crossed over, but
Uh-huh.
then he came back because he liked where the area he was in, and he talked about liking the people and the area, and he was very comfortable where he was, and so he wanted to, like, it was farmland, it was just comfortable for him, it was where he grew up, everything else. So he's like, I actually crossed over and I came back because I like this area.
Well, okay, so a very good friend of mine passed away and spends quite a bit of time with me. But that doesn't mean that they're not crossed over. They
Okay.
just choose to spend a lot of time with me. It's not like, oh, I cross over. I change my mind. I want to be earthbound. It's not like that. They cross over and they have the ability to be here as much as frequently as they like.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering, because there's been a discussion that I've heard that, okay, so there's different levels of this. There's
Mhm.
You're earthbound, or you have been crossed over, and you
Mhm.
can come back to visit.
Mhm.
Um, or if you've crossed over and you've accepted basically what we would call a reincarnation,
Mhm.
then all that essence of you is gone, and now someone can't contact you because you've been reincarnated into someone else.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, I do believe in reincarnation. Obviously, we have multiple experiences.
Right.
My belief structure in particular is I have never once in all the 30 freaking years of my life went to connect with a soul and it not be there.
Okay.
So my brain, my left brain is telling me, there that doesn't make good sense to me. I think that there is the ability to communicate. Therefore, do I believe in reincarnation? Yeah, I know it to be a fact. But I believe we still have the ability to connect with that soul, what people refer to as the higher self.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because, like I said, I've had that discussion before, that once someone crosses over, you can't pick up that essence from anybody else. Like, you just can't sense them; they're not there, nothing else. So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting, but I've never known which one was correct. It was always a question.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question, but I can only speak from my personal
Right.
experience, what my belief structure is.
Right.
I'm not, saying anybody else is wrong, but until I'm proven otherwise, I'm going to think I'm right.
So, do you know of any reason why, if it's a loved one,
Uh-huh.
why, like, if for instance, I mean, I know this isn't happening because my mom's already reached back out to me because my mom passed
Uh-huh.
recently, but like, say she passed on, but all of a sudden she doesn't want to contact me. She doesn't want to reach back out to me to let me know she's okay.
Yeah, that's very common.
Is that just because they
But
don't
I'm going to tell you why. What happens is the person is grieving so hard. They are going through such turmoil in their grief that the crossed over, or the spirit, let's use that word. So the spirit then doesn't want to communicate
because it kind of
with
reopens
their
that.
loved one because they don't want to re-traumatize them
Perfect.
again.
Yep.
So it's quite often that there will be periods of time to allow that to heal before there is a connection.
Right.
But I can tell you, I was very young, quite young. I think I was like 21 or something. I was like something like that. I don't know. I don't want to lie. But I can't remember. But there was a lady that had come in, and her husband, and I did not know that. I give her this big long reading, everything. And she had her daughter with her, and blah, 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 blah. This, she tells me at the end, she's like, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that. He had died an hour and a half beforehand, before she walked in. Yeah. And I was just like, well, he was ready to talk to her. He was ready to give her whatever information that she needed at that time. But it was much needed for him because it allowed him to let go of the responsibility of taking care of wife and daughter so he could cross over.
Right.
And that was a huge lesson for me as a medium. That was huge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the reason, and I wasn't going to bring anything up specifics about why I was asking that question, but my wife did. So I'll go ahead and bring it up. She's the time I've had this conversation because out of all of the readings I've had, I've never heard from one of my grandmothers, her mom's mom. And so she's always like, well, I don't know why she's the one who never, we hear from everybody else in the world, but for that reason, for some reason for her, she never reaches out to connect. And so Nikki is just curious about why that specific one won't reach out to say hi or any kind of let us have a recognition that she's around or anything else.
I don't know. I can't really attest to any previous readers that have attempted to it, but I don't feel that your wife has trauma or a longing in any fashion. So yeah, I don't feel that. But I can attest to other people's capabilities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm not asking you to do a reading right now. We were just kind of discussing because she and I have had that conversation. She's like, well, it's just odd that the one person I never heard from is from my grandmother on my mom's side. She goes, because her grandmother and her grandfather on her dad's side have both appeared and stuff like that. But on the mom's side, the grandmother has never made herself even known, or no one's ever felt her or anything else. Even if she asked specifically about her, she just, and that kind of prompted the question of, well, if someone is reincarnated, are they completely gone? And so we just don't feel them anymore. So this kind of all ties back into conversations we've had in the past with some of the other stuff we've gone through.
Yeah, no, I don't see why there wouldn't be. I don't. I wish she was on here.
She probably likes the other grandchildren better.
No, no. I mean, your wife.
Oh no, I know.
No, I wish she would be on here.
Well, she can be.
Yeah, tell her to be on here.
Well, Make an appearance. Taryn wants to see you anyways. You know that. So she's on her way. She had to move all the beads. She's making jewelry for her niece's graduation presents and all of her friends. So
for my own students
and
That's
for her
kind of weird.
So
I don't need to ask her reading. I don't. But it was just a conversation that we've always had. Like, why can't we see, like other spirits come in? But it's like we've never heard from who I call my grandma Ann. So, and we talked about that reincarnation thing. Like, would they have already passed? Would they already reincarnated? Because she's been passed, like 25 years. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm not getting trauma or anything from you, the effort that you wouldn't. So I will tell you, I do have a woman here. She wears a very fine necklace, very delicate necklace, and she's holding it doing this. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, folks. This is what happens on my show.
Sorry,
Welcome
guys.
to my show.
Yeah.
I started it.
She's also talking about a house.
Well, remember, we asked you if we're going to buy a house on a lake. Or I have asked you.
You have asked me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just on one of your night show,
Yeah, when on the chat with Charlie's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And not like you
did she
remember.
ask me? Am I that? I don't
No,
even
it's just-
remember. Okay, you're
Okay.
talking about a different time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, not tonight.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, while you're doing that, you're doing all that. Hey, folks, guess what? Charlie actually has a show on BBC called TV called Chat with Charlie, so you need to come and watch her on that too.
Yeah, so she's talking about a house in regards to you.
Everyone, my wife, everybody.
Hi.
Who is Sue to you?
Ooh.
Sue?
Yeah.
I know a Susan.
Okay.
That's actually my ex-wife.
Okay. Okay, hold on.
While that's going on, go check out the link.
Did you have like a weird name for her? It wasn't like grandma.
No, it's Grandma Ann. We called her Grandma Ann all the
Grandma
time.
Ann?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You would like literally call her Grandma Ann instead of like grandma?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Was she, I'm going to put it this way, the way she comes across to me as someone who was like the mamacita of the family. Like she ruled the family. Everybody listened to her. She actually held the family together. She stopped people from fighting and kind of bickering back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And when they were in her presence, it was like, knock the shit off.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be, yeah. My mom had 5 sisters. They
Okay.
kind of split. 2 older ones, 2 younger ones. And so they always had conflicts. But my mom and my grandma Ann were kind of the ones that, kept them all together and held, they were kind of the glue.
Jamie, you're
She
fine.
had a problem with her hands. She's showing me.
She was diabetic.
Yeah,
So,
she's showing me. Yeah, she's showing me she had a problem with her hands. And also there was some breathing, some heart issues that were going on as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what did you want to hear from her, hon?
I just want to know, I just want to know if she was around and because I just have never heard from her. So It's been 25 years. And so
she's been there.
Yeah.
She's been there. Yeah. She's been around. And again, I'm not saying anything about anybody else, but she's been around. She's talking about a lot. What is this? Wait, can you show me that again, please? It's like a lampshade. She's showing me a light with a lampshade and it'll like flicker. That's her.
Yeah, but in the basement is also
I'm just telling you. That's what she's showing me. So that's her. She's just trying to get your attention. It's nothing to be like spooky or creepy or anything like that. It's to get your attention.
Besides my first
talking about something that was in this May that was of significance for you.
This May?
Yeah. Do you have a significant event that comes up, an annual event, birthdays, anniversaries, the date of death, something in May?
I'm not for sure when her birthday was. I would have to.
Okay, well, just write it down. Keep it in your mind. Check with your mom. There's something about May that's of significance.
I mean, Memorial Weekend, we always had it. Like we were always almost at her house.
Well, that would be an annual event in May. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd always go up there Memorial Weekend. Or we used to. And I'm not. So the name Sue. The only thing I can think of is she used to call all of us Susie because she couldn't keep us all straight.
Okay.
So, and this started like long when her daughters were young, but she would call us all Susie or Sally, and we better respond. It wasn't our names.
Perfect.
That was that like.
Good.
Perfect.
Susie was everybody's name.
Okay. Perfect.
When you were the closest
Again,
one,
she's just trying to give you.
Oh yeah, like that's
trying to give you concrete evidence of. Look, she is talking to me. This is who I have. You know what I mean?
What I can think of is in the house. Her house they tore down finally because it was old.
It was old.
Old. So they've torn it down.
Yeah. Can you see my little house being torn down? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm like, look, that's that. That's actually about the shape of it. So yeah. I mean, they couldn't even sell it because it had like asbestos throughout, and it was just. I mean, it was an old house with one bathroom. They had to put plumbing into it for that one bathroom. No shower. So yeah, they had to finally tear it down. But that was her house that they lived.
She keeps talking about this necklace. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but there's something about this necklace. It was like it should have went to someone. This necklace. It's of importance.
I'll have to talk to my mom about it. I have a feeling that if that's true, because one of my mom's sisters ended up raiding the house. She was about the only one that lived around the town.
Okay, then that would be of significance.
Yeah, like ended up raiding the house and taking whatever she wanted instead of things going to where they needed to go. So
yeah, this was of importance to her to bring this up now.
Okay.
This necklace was. So please give that message to your mom because she needs to hear that it was always intended to go to her. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's random. Okay. She's talking about you need better shoes.
Mom! She knows my feet hurt.
That is just the most random thing I've ever gotten. She's like
telling me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've actually started I've been just delaying buying new shoes. So that's funny. Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah, you should not be delaying in that. Should absolutely not be delaying in that. Yeah. And she's at peace.
Good. I figured.
Okay, so let me read a couple of things also that she was describing you to me. And did you see it on the paper? That you are smart, that you are loving, that you are giving. And she's also talking, I believe she was Catholic of some type because she was talking about St. Michael.
She was religious. She was, but that's funny. She's
Yeah.
religious, but
Okay.
she was more Lutheran. But can you show that?
Hey, if I can get it out of there.
I know.
That's the Archangel Michael
Okay.
tattoo she just
Beautiful.
recently got.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
She just recently got. So yes.
Yeah.
What
So
her daughter hates.
Yes.
My mom hates it.
you know,
That's funny.
you have to spend a little bit more time taking care of yourself instead of taking care of everybody else.
She's
Okay.
a teacher, so she's the fault there.
Yep.
Busted.
In about a week and a half, that'll be good.
Yeah. So I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that. I didn't mean for that to happen. I was just that curious. That's the one person that I kind of wondered. Like, I knew she's over there. I know she's been watching over this. I had no doubt. I did.
Yeah. You know what?
So
You don't need me or anybody else to communicate to her. She can hear you,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
So when you are standing there and you just want confirmation or something, you can tell her, you know, hey, if you're here, do this or do that. But the light is her shtick. She loves it because it took her a while to figure out how to manipulate it. So she enjoys that.
Okay.
So pay attention.
Yeah.
And
So-
I'll tell you, I feel like it's going to happen in your bathroom too.
I knew it.
Okay.
I called
So
it.
this is the funny thing. We got this new like automatic humidity fan in the bathroom that turns on when the humidity is too high. So when you're taking a shower, you don't have to turn it on with the light switch. It will automatically turn on. Well, after we got this on, and the light in there is green when it's on,
Mhm.
and it's orange when it's like you've turned it on full time.
Like
Okay.
it's manual.
Yeah, like it's manual.
Mhm.
So after about a month or so, like it was one morning it was on, and I'm like, Tom, did you like turn this on? He's like, no, I haven't touched that thing. And I'm like, okay. So I flipped it back so it's automatic. Does it again. You know, like, I mean, it was happening like 2 or 3 times a week. After a while, I was like, motherfuckers, who is fucking with my fan? Because at that time I was like, it's got to be a spirit. I was like, who? It was my other grandma. I'm like, oh,
That's
I touched her out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oops.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So-
awesome.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much
thank
for
you,
allowing
Charlie.
me the opportunity.
Hijack the show.
All right. Thank you, love. I appreciate you.
You tell Taryn's not on because she hasn't commented about me.
Well, the funny thing is, for those people in the audience, is that I actually told Charlie, if something happens and a reading's going to happen, just let it happen. So, and I said that even before the show. So this is kind of foretelling.
Well, no, I think, you know, everything and I know that sounds cliche, but everything happens for a reason, you
Right.
know, and it was just perfect timing, perfect space and place.
Yep.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, folks that are out there watching in TV land, randomness on my show. This is what happens. We don't have anything scripted. This is exactly how I like the show to happen. Very much a conversation.
I wish.
So yeah, I don't. That might be a great place to end, unless you have anything else.
Yeah,
to
no,
add.
I'm good. Yeah, because I
want
got a
to-
class at 10.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw this back up there one more time. Look down there, folks. Go visit that site. I already know that you have 2 people going out there, or 3. Me, Kelly, and Stuart are going to be going out there shortly to go look at your stuff.
Perfect.
I'll be going out there again to look at it more as a student now instead of just an interviewer. So, and I will reach out to you to set up a consult with you. So, I'll be sure
Perfect.
to get on your schedule because I know that you're unbelievably busy.
Yeah.
But I will let you go.
Okay.
Since I know you do have a show coming on, and I mean a class coming on, and you got to get ready for that. So, but thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Do not be surprised when I ask you to come on again because it was absolutely fantastic.
Well,
And-
I appreciate it. It was definitely awesome. It was my pleasure. Thank you to everyone that showed up. Man, she's like, me. I could, you know what? It's so funny because I could hear it in my head.
Yeah,
right. I love her. She's great. Thank you so much.
Like I said, there was no way that we were only going to run an hour. So, and I was right. So, but yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate everyone watching. I will let you go and then I will close the show down. But thank you very much. And I will talk to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for coming onto the show. Again, I really appreciate you showing up, showing the love, participating, listening, everything else. If you want to, feel free to share this out to anyone who you think may want to watch it. She had a lot of good information. You saw what her classes were about, just through discussion and what kind of a person she is. She's absolutely fantastic. And I would really like to throw support her way as well. I do with every person I have on here because they're just fantastic people that I bring on, just like the audience is. But thank you very much for being here. Much love. I will have on another guest next Monday at 7 p.m. Her name is Joni Barnes. Sorry, I have 3 Jonies in my head, so I got to remember which one it is. But Joni Barnes, she is actually new to me. So I'm kind of excited about this one. I've done some background work with her as far as reading her up and everything else. I think she's going to be a fantastic guest. I think she's going to be hilarious. So you may want to come in and tune into that one, see what she brings with us. And invite your friends, invite your family, invite your dogs. I don't care. Everyone show up. Help support the shows. Help support. Let me get this stuff out of here too, because I can. I am actually showing on different places. BB3 TV right here is where I'm actually being shown at as one of the places. My other one is my own page, which is the Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. It's facebook.com, Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. And so those are the 2 places where I actually run my program from. So feel free to watch either one of those. Much love. If you also want to support my paranormal investigation team, Dimensional Encounters Paranormal, facebook.com, Dimensional Encounters. That is my paranormal investigation team. And we will actually be going live in a couple of weekends because we're going to an undisclosed location for the weekend. I will be putting stuff out for that as well. Feel free to check out our sites. They're right there. Other than that, as I said before, go check out Charli's page again. Find out what she's all about. That was our guest tonight. She was absolutely fantastic. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me, stuffineverlearned@gmail.com, or go out to my webpage or my page again at facebook.com/Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. It's all one word ran together. It's just really, really long. Other than that, have a great night. Much love, and I will talk to you all later.